I want you to all listen to me very carefully. First of all, if you don't know what a placenta is, you're too young to watch many reviews of specific episodes on YouTube, and yes, they're all over YouTube. As for the episode itself, I don't think that I'm old enough to watch the actual episode, but here we are. I've seen many terrible episodes from a variety of different cartoons during my youth, and I thought that I could take on anything. But this one yet almost taps me out. It can change who you are, beyond giving you nightmares or making you think that the writer's sadistic look. It has the ability to kill hope. It was the ability to kill insanity, and it has the ability to kill innocence. I may be going down here, but I'm bringing this down with me. Before we begin, let's find out how I got there. After Viacom bought out Nickelodeon, they all made a stupid decision after stupid decision. We've already established that. But there was one of the worst, reviving Ren and Stimpy as an adult cartoon. An adult parody cartoon, if you want to call it. I would say that it gives them a good argument for censorship. But this is actually what cartoon would be like if censors were revealed. Or reversed, in that case. I'm getting all kinds of conflicting reports because no one wants to take blame, and I don't blame them. The executives keep forcing in. Let's call them adult fiends, said John Kay, that make the first episode of the adult parody cartoon. Onward, upward, word entirely out of gross and jokes because of a fan asked him and Richard Purcell, the writer of the episode, moved on to SpongeBob and helped write such a classic episode such as A Pal for Gary and Pet Sitter Pat. So no one would be innocent here. These writers went on to making infamous episodes that we consider. The episode that killed a character in seconds. The episode was called Ren and Stimpy Ren Seeks Help, and I wind up watching the episode around July 3rd, 2003, the same exact time it aired. The episode opens up at the room where Stimpy is seen screaming and crying hysterically in bed, whilst Ren looks in with an ashamed, apologetic expression. Ren apologizes to him and promises that he'll go seek for help. While Stimpy continues to cry on the bed, Ren leaves his home and then slowly walks out through the city to seek for a therapist. After arriving at the place called Help, he meets a Mr. Horse who is depressed and a psychologist and a physiotherapist, and tells his childhood story. He did a flashback of his birth of Ren, his abusive behavior as began as a child, where there was things such as yanking out their legs and lots of other stuff that was happening. Even worse is hurting them. His favorite of all was hurting a frog in a gruesome manner, as seen throughout the episode, but the frog pleads to force Ren to end his life. However, Ren decides that he can't after he was confused over the frog's request. Later that one day, Ren's parents forces their son to end it by giving him a chainsaw. But of course, Ren as usual sneaks off to throw him in the trash can nearby. Back in the present day, Ren tells Mr. Horse about the time he met Stimpy. After hearing about Ren's horrid story, Mr. Horse angrily tells him that he is crazy and that he shouldn't have stayed away from the normal people. Then he decides to beat him up. However, Ren goes absolutely ballistic. He kills Mr. Horse in a feral manner. After the deed is done, two of the animal controls officers barges in while the crazed Chihuahua goes on the attack, biting off one of the men's hands off, and the second caught by Ren in the net and takes him away to the pound. Afterwards, the same injured frog from Ren's childhood crawls out, and of course, he ends up dying. But, however, causing him to suffer even more agony. The cartoon ends with the Looney Tunes ending title card, with the characters smiling at the audience along with the sign reading, "That's it, folks." You know how sad that put is. People say that it's the best episode of the adult parody cartoon, but I don't know. I haven't watched that many other episodes, and since this is the worst thing I've ever watched, and probably is never gonna watch, I'm not gonna watch the other episodes. I refuse to. Even if I have to guess why that's the case, considering the best and the episode does a lot of things then to try to gross people out in various ways, but it's too disturbing to be commented on that. and tries to tell so many jokes and play it straight and gets too confused that it begins to tell everyone like a disturbing thing is the joke that it is going to try to tell. No matter what the story was trying to tell, it takes too long to get started and takes too long to do so, and the next thing to do is to pay off. Most of the jokes they tell everyone are either gross or don't understand the basics of comedy. The production is crap, and a lot of people have kept telling you that it's supposedly be overdramatic. Ren and Stimpy is supposed to be a comedy like it has always been a comedy. I'm not saying that it could do more comedy, but comedy is what you come for the show to like for. Going for this dramatic attention is gonna be like a Family Guy or potential commentary. It just doesn't belong there. What do other episodes do? Or they will be gross, or they just take care of a baby made out of crap. There was more ways to discuss a person than pure imaginary. It's why people hate a pal for Gary more than the Splinter. In fact, you could probably call this episode the Pal of Gary in animation. Think about it. It starts with nothing but sap, tons of animal cruelty, disturbing content where it shouldn't be there, and a character to make cruelty worse. Unlike a pal for Gary, I felt like a piece of me died after watching this. I felt broken after watching it. I mean, why did Ren have to do all these things? Why did it show me what Ren do? And most of all, what did Ren do to Stimpy that was so horrible? It just drives me to the sanest person sent alive to lunatic sea or something. After watching that godforsaken episode, I lay in bed and fell asleep, only to have a nightmare. I was in a dark, narrow hallway, what seemed to look like Mr. Horse's head, and of course there was a frog that mounted on opposite sides of the wall. There was even bloody handwritings on the wall, such as "Froggy, I'm not crazy," and etc. The place I was in was so dark that I consumed the light. I walked down the dimly lit hallway until I reached a stairwell, and down the stairs what I assumed to be something I should avoid. But I didn't know that. But it sounded like growling. I made a break for it and darted all the way back to where I was, which was the door. I tried to open it, but it was locked. I banged on it and hollered for someone to let me out, but then I heard the growling get closer and closer until I slowly looked over my shoulder. Then I saw it, or him. It was Ren. The same bestial look he gave me when the animal control officers came in, and the fireman's axe was tightly gripped on his claw hands, and he was inching over slowly. Still with that feral expression, the first thing that came into mind was to grab the little mongrel by the neck and, of course, yeet him across the hall. That way, I could take the axe and crash through my way for the door. But that wasn't the case. I didn't do that first of all. Of course, but before I could pounder on that thought, he ran up to me and slammed the axe into me. That's when I woke up and with a loud yell. Sweat beaded across my face and I shook deep, shallow breaths. I didn't tell anyone online about what I saw. Apparently someone ended up watching on Spike TV and said that they were scared all over it. The episode was never to upload to YouTube because there were some clips of the episode that scattered all over the internet. Hell, there was even some screenshots of the episode as well as on YouTube. This episode became popular sometime in any way, but I don't blame it on one bit. This episode is really messed up, to be honest. One day after walking home from school, I noticed that there was a missing poster of a scrawny asthma hound, chihuahua with a floppy body, donkey-like ears, neon pink eyes and red pupils, red eyelids, and a fairly long rat-like pink tail. The chihuahua was set of jagged, demonic teeth, and even looks that made me came out of Edgar Allan Poe's nightmares. My jaw dropped all the way to the china at this point, and I looked at my friends who were continuing to walk home. I made a deadbolt back home and slammed my door shut before locking everything in my entire house. My parents asked me what was wrong, and I told them that there was a wanted poster of a serial child kidnapper that was currently on the run and from police abducting children in this truck. I didn't want to tell them what I think about it in real life because, of course, it was missing on the picture. I don't know if this is real or this is some traumatizing imagination, but I know one thing. I did convince that there was something there or someone out there. I never really believed in unexplainable phenomenon before, but of course now that I have, I just don't know anymore. I don't know why Ren did what he did, or nor he did to Stempy, but whatever it was probably the most messed up thing in my cartoon character's ever done. Sometime after the events of what happened, nothing really happened. Just before I started typing this down, I received from my parents that my uncle was killed, what seemed to be an escaped mental patient. He was murdered far from home, and his body was hidden in the sewers. Of course, the maniac was never caught or identified, but the messages he left were too familiar to Ren's quotes from Ren Seeks Help. I don't even know if this is some coincidence or not, but I was now getting a little freaked out. And no, the guy was never caught. Hell, there's not even a sign that he would breaking into someone's house, nor that there was any vehicles on site. How the hell would he be remotely possible? This is not in any form or any shape, nor did it make sense whatsoever. Now I'm going to read this good note. I contacted the show's original creator, John K., about Ren Seeks Help, and this is what he currently is happening to me, and he said this when I wrote me back. Dear, thanks for getting a hold of us about the situation, because I have a lot to get off my chest. First of all, I never wanted the adult parent party to cartoon to be made. I knew this was going to get a lot of hate, but the greedy people down at Viacom didn't seem to give any amounts of a crap. Of course, all they care about is money. Yes, I did send some crap that was rather personal, but just because it matters worse. And yes, I did see Ren Seeks Help on CNN once, and it made me mad in even more ways than one. After watching that episode, I called up those, what the world's copied for, dip peoples. No, the word is not good for them. A-holes, no, that's not quite right. Effers, you know what, I'm just gonna call them excuses. This is for humanity. Until I did find some description that they were verbally fits and cruel and even idiotic and juvenile talentlessness asses. I called them and asked them about what reality they live in, and this is the reality. It's conventional wisdom that to make an adult to write children, or to write for children, or what am I saying? It's not fair. Children would make better writers than them. Hell, infants would. My dog would. Oh wait, now what? I called them mindless, generated cats. I told them that they would want to think that they're lucky stars every second of their day whatsoever, for the hell they would sold your souls to that stupid that was not enough to give them their jobs. Because they would lose their jobs for writing this kind of garbage, they'll most likely never work for them again, not even on television, but in any job. I don't know anyone who would lower themselves substantially to even reluctantly want their determined, poisoned minds around them. I ended up calling them just to tell them to leave us alone and get back to doing the sludge that they came from. After that, I really feel fascinated, just terrified, knowing that the Ren and Stimpy would have come out the same thing, even though they're just cartoon characters and they're not real. But yeah, as for the things you described right for after watching that episode, yeah, you do realize that Ren is not real, right? Because you're making it look like Ren is gonna all bending in the ink machine and killing random people. Yeah, it's stupid, I know, but that's what came into mind after you reading this email. But anyway, I'm glad you came to tell me about the whole ordeal, and I do believe whatsoever for kill your uncle was just another backcrap move who is going all the killing here, but and not the cartoon character. Hopefully we're just gonna talk more. I do like having a fun fan come around and strike the conversation together. Sincerely, John K., the creator of Ren and Stimpy Show. After reading that, I felt much relief about the whole situation, and it did make good points about me worrying about Ren coming to kill me and whatnot, which is kind of stupid of me, but I was a kind of a kid back then. I mean, you can't really blame so much of a childish nonsense. I think it's best if anyone doesn't try to scrap up what they could to watch the fuller episode or one, because you would only find the episode review, either the mysterious Mr. Enter or the Phantom Strider. Second, it's just too much. If I upload the full episode here, then I could very well drive you insane and get you sick or disturbed enough to click off the page. Both pages and clips and the episode itself have been making people more queasy and unnerved at the same time. And as for the picture, of the dog I saw, I don't even know if that was just a new breed or some picture someone made in ArtStation, but if that was the case, then I gotta head it to whoever made that image, and because it's really done yet. I've seen better works from ArtStation, and that catches the eye, so brainer than anyone would make it this for fun, but why not nail just on the post on the street? Question 1 alone, and what has been on my mind ever since I laid my eyes on it. 2, and it did make me think about twice about things. I ain't lying when I tell you this. I certainly did, but I most certainly did. But the question still remains, what did old Ren do to Stimpy that got Mr. Horse so outraged? Guess we'll never know for sure, although this was the freakiest crap I've ever seen. Don't believe me? Watch the reviews and see for yourself. Wow, that was actually really nice. And that my little pretties was Ren Seeks Help, a Ren and Stimpy lost episode creepypasta written by the Dark Cat. The Dark Cat, I want to thank you so much for writing this story. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Now, let's get to the episode itself. I actually found this episode to be quite freaky. About, this person, finding out this episode, of Ren and Stimpy, which, of course, is really freaky of this story to come to think of it. Now, I have not watched this movie, the show, in, a long time, so I don't really know too much. But you, Dark Cat, you actually did a really good job with this story, and I can definitely say there was definitely a lot of time and effort into the story. There was a lot of, the grammar was good, that's for one. The sentence structuring was good. The paragraph structuring. The storyline of how the episode went out was just amazing. I can't tell you how amazed this one was actually really good. And I could definitely say that it was a really interesting concept in this pasta. This pasta, of Ren going all nuts all of a sudden, he's going insane. It's kind of freaky, if you ask me. It's a really, really crazy and interesting concept. Now, I could definitely say there was, a lot of time and effort into the story, which I could definitely say, Dark Cat, you did a really good job. Now, I'm going to make this review short because, well, I don't want to make this pasta too long because, well, mainly because I know you guys, this pasta was actually pretty long, so I'm going to try to keep this as short as I possibly can, but I can definitely say that there was at least some form of way that I can definitely say, hey, that there was a lot of stuff with this pasta. Now, I did have to censor some stuff because they were either didn't want to mention or anything like that, but I can definitely say it was really, really creepy, but awesome at the same time. I could definitely say there was a lot of stuff that I can definitely say, that was pretty good. Now, about the person, the protagonist ends up finding out, that there was somebody on the loose, who killed his, uncle and stuff. Here's the thing, and it's a little bit of a problem, is, how was it that they were not discovered? Are the police still investigating that or something? There's, no explanation about what's going on. There's absolutely, no explanation. Now, what could have been done is maybe have a little more explanation on where the person who did this to the protagonist's uncle could have be at or something like that. That way the story itself would actually make it good, and so to speak. Now, I'm trying to keep the review short, but I could definitely say there was a lot of great time and effort into the story, and I definitely do know there was a lot of great concept to it. I actually found this pasta to be really freaky, but good at the same time, and that is a really good plus for me right there. Now, I'm going to say right now that other than that negative, there's nothing really any negatives for me to say, but I can definitely say that it was actually really interesting, so to speak. Now, I'm going to make this quick because, you know, I'm going to try to wrap up the review as best as I can. And I'm definitely going to say right now that it's really interesting, so to speak, if you want to call it that. But you could definitely say that it's a really cool concept. But I could definitely say this pasta actually did really good. Now, I'm going to say right now, and like I always continue to say, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this story would have to get a, 9.5 out of 10. I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10 because it's a really great creepypasta, really great concept. It's really freaky, I can definitely say. And it's actually really nice and really well done. And I can definitely say there's a lot of great effort into it, which I can definitely say it's really nice. And I really do recommend you check out this story. This story was written by The Dark Cat, so be sure you go sub to The Dark Cat because he makes really good concept and stuff, like really good creepypastas. This one was actually really good. I can definitely say there's a lot of time and effort into the story, so that's something I can definitely say there's time and effort into it. Now, okay. And anyways, what did you all think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you not? Also, what we have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the Queen of Lions. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're brand new here to this channel, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe because I make brand new videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the notification bell to when I upload so you guys will not miss an upload. And I guess I'm gonna, you know, basically kind of end it or something because, well, you probably understand. But yeah, this one was a little, well, but it was pretty good though. I highly recommend you check this story out. And if for those who want to check out the story, be sure, Dark Cat left me a link in one of his channels so you guys can go see that and check it out. And like always, I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace out. And like always, roll the outro because I'm out of here.